Sometimes in this hobby, it can feel like the Pokemon community only cares about investing, that everyone only cares about making money. How much can I sell this card for? What's this booster box worth? Should I invest into this set? Now, for some, it can take the joy out of the hobby, and it can be exhausting to constantly have to worry about dollars and cents and how much will this sell for if I list it right now? What can I buy this for? What's the cheapest? What's the most expensive? Is this going to go up in the future? Now, I myself am also guilty of this. Almost every video I've made up until this point has at least some emphasis on the money side of the hobby, which is why I wanted to do something a little different today. I'm not going to talk about investing or stonking or flipping or the top 5 ways to make money in Pokemon. Instead, I want to show you guys some things from my personal collection, and ultimately at the end, I'm going to reveal a Grail card that I was recently able to purchase. And I'm very excited to show you guys this card. So without further ado, let's get into it. Most of us know the TCG illustrator Mitsuhiro Arita, who created the iconic base set Charizard, and Ken Sugimori, who has illustrated many iconic cards in his own right, such as this base set Blastoise. But my main collection goal, and what I've really been focusing on lately, is collecting all of the cards illustrated by an artist named Tomokazu Komiya. Komiya's been around since the beginning. He is a true OG Pokemon illustrator. He started illustrating cards for the Pokemon TCG back in 1998 when he illustrated several cards for the Vending Series. So Vending Series is a Japanese exclusive release. I've got it right here. Vending Series is a really cool, unique release. If you haven't heard of it, take some time to look it up. It's super underrated in my opinion. Komiya continued to illustrate cards through the Wizards of the Coast era. So we've got a sampling of some of his holos here, which I'm collecting in PSA 9 condition. We've got the Politoed from Neo Discovery, which is a very cool card. Here, love the red holofoil background, how it clashes with the green and blue of the card. Beautiful card there. Then we move on to the Delibird from Neo Revelation. So we've got a Neo Rev holo here. And then moving on to the Pidgeot from Expedition. This is a very, very cool card. Pidgeot flying against the sun. Awesome bright red background. The red sheen from the sun glowing off Pidgeot's body here. Very, very cool card in Expedition. Moving on to the Ludicolo from EX Sandstorm. EX Sandstorm, super underrated, awesome set, by the way. So we've got him moving on into the Nintendo EX era illustrating cards. So we've got the Ludicolo here. Moving on to the Victory Bell from Fire Red Leaf Green. Love Victory Bell. You can see the Victory Bell sitting cutie over my right shoulder here. Very cool card. Moving on to the Pillow-Swine. I love this card from Team Rocket Returns. Moving into the Sudowoodo from EX Unseen Forces. I was just made a post on Instagram the other day about the Sudowoodo and the interaction you had with him in the Pokemon Gold and Silver games. Got some good nostalgic memories with Sudowoodo there. And then moving into this very concerned Dugtrio. His 2 buddies on the outside, on the left and right, are angry. We got our guy in the middle here, very upset from EX Crystal Guardians. And finishing it off here, we've got the Japanese exclusive release Psyduck Scream promo. This is quite possibly my favorite card in the entire hobby, as I've mentioned before. Just a really, really cool release back in 2018. Love this card a lot. So all in all, he's illustrated over 250 cards throughout the years, as you can see scrolling on the screen here. Set cards to promo releases to all kinds of different cards and postcards and different releases throughout the Pokemon IP. So my main collection goal is to collect a master set of all his work, as well as you saw, a little sampling of the holos in PSA 9 condition. So that's my main collection goal. That's why we're here. But kind of the big story, the big attraction here, the card that I'm so excited to show you today is his rarest and most difficult to acquire card of them all. So this card was released as a part of a program called the Pokemon Fan Club that ran from 1999 to 2001 in Japan. So first of all, shout out to SM Pratt. He put out a great video talking about the history of the fan club and highlighting the cards, and I really got a lot of the information that I'm going to share with you today from that video. So I'll put a link to that in the description. So basically, as a part of this program, kids would sign up. They would earn points, typically in 10 to 20 point increments, either for battling someone or attending an event or or completing some kind of challenge. You could then redeem those points to receive cards. So the most popular and widely known cards from the fan club are this Eevee and this Porygon. Those are probably the two cards that most people are familiar with from that release. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. So this card was sent out to members of the fan club program in the year 2000 to celebrate the new millennium. As you can see, it's a little bit larger than the standard trading card here to compare it with, but it's not quite as large as a jumbo. But in any event, it was a little thin. It was kind of difficult for me to stuff this into the card saver here. So we're not going to take it out for this video because I am going to eventually send this off to PSA to get encapsulated and authenticated. So for now, we'll have to look at it through the plastic protectors. But anyway, this is just a beautiful Komiya artwork. Komiya is known for his hand-drawn illustrations that have always really stood out amongst other types of the more common styles in the Pokemon TCG, at least it has for me. So I absolutely love everything about this card. So for those of us who are old enough to remember the year 2000, the shift to the new millennium, the Y2K craze that swept the nation, the fact that this card is associated with that event in that moment in time makes it feel that much more special to me personally. I have vivid memories of that whole Y2K situation as a young child, and having this as a tie to that specific moment is very nostalgic for me. So that is the first unique thing about this card that really jumps out to me. And also another interesting thing about this card is that the year 2000 is actually, according to the Japanese zodiac, it is the year of the dragon. So as you'll see here, we've got dragon type Pokemon throughout this illustration. We've got Gyarados blasting some Dragon Rage. We've got Charizard laughing in the background a little bit. We've got Dragonite a little apprehensive about what's going on with the Dragon Rage here. We've got Dratini, and then finally at the bottom here we've got everybody's favorite Sea Dragon here, Seadra. So this just adds a nice little touch, in my opinion. It's a really thoughtful way to tie in this illustration, the turn to the new millennium, to the year of the dragon, the year 2000. So I really love that about it as well. If I zoom in here, so the text on this card actually translates to: this special card has been sent to trainer players to obtain 200 get points. And then in parentheses there, what that translates to is points are added automatically. So I read that as, and we can read that as, is that everyone enrolled in the fan club at the time, at the shift to the year 2000, got 200 bonus points to celebrate the new year, presumably as a thank you for being enrolled in that club. So that is what that translates to on the front. Another thing that really makes this card special and unique is that this, and I'll flip it over to the back to show you, this is actually a postcard. So as I mentioned before, that this is bigger than a normal trading card. It's smaller than a jumbo, but the reason for its size is that this is a actual postcard. So the fact that this was sent through the Japanese mail system in the year 2000, and that it was sent completely unprotected, it was not, protected with a plastic covering. There was no sleeve on it, or it wasn't encased in any plastic. The address is directly on this postcard. It was just dropped right into the collection box 23 years ago. The fact that that happened, and then it sat in that person's drawer for over 2 decades and somehow made it halfway across the world to me, in that it sits in my hands right now in relatively decent condition, is just so cool. It's really, really cool. I love cards with unique releases like that. All of the things that had to happen for this to get into my hands right now at this moment, it's just amazing. And this is what makes collecting special to me. Things like this, and tying in the history of the card and the release to the actual physical item in your hand, it just makes it extremely exciting and very rewarding and awesome. So this type of release method, where it was completely unprotected and it was sent through the mail, I'm sure some of them, a few of them got lost in the mail or crunched up or smashed between boxes. This release method is why it's such a scarce card and why it's so hard to obtain. So as you can see on the screen here, there are only 9 total graded and authenticated copies by PSA in existence currently. So there are a couple of copies that I'm currently aware of that are, either in collectors' hands, or there's a few listed on eBay right now. But these ones that are listed on eBay have a potential condition issue, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So after doing a little bit of digging and talking with other collectors who do own copies of this card, I've learned that it is quite common actually for these cards to have this address on the back. It's common for that address to be completely taped, have tape over it, or Sharpie or pen or some kind of marking covering up that address. And it makes sense, you know, the original owners, they go to sell this card, you know, after finding it in their collection after all these years, probably don't want to send it out with their personal information, you know, visible, and their address information out into the world. So it makes sense why a good chunk of these have those markings on it to cover up the address. So if you look at these eBay listings and you look at the back of the card, the back image is not visible in the pictures, and it's either because the lister wants to hide the fact that the Sharpies or the tape is covering up the address, or they just want that information to remain private. So they've covered it up with a piece of paper or a card, so that's not visible in the listing. So when I purchased this card, the back was not visible in the listing pictures, and I couldn't verify just by looking at the pictures whether or not it did have this issue of Sharpie or anything covering up or damage or other kind of dirt or gunk or crease. Like, I was not able to verify it, and the reason why I just didn't send the buyer a quick message asking, hey, can I see the back? Can you verify? Can you confirm that, you know, what the condition of the address portion of the card is? The reason why I didn't do that is because I had been looking for this card for a long time, and this copy popped up at a reasonable price. So I quickly snap bought it, clicked buy it now as soon as I could, just to prevent somebody else from grabbing it. So I was willing to take the risk at that time that it would have this, you know, address portion either covered up with Sharpie tape, whatever the case may be. I was willing to take that risk and pay the price that I paid for this card because I just really wanted it in my collection. This is the rarest card that I needed to get for my Kamiya Master set, so I really wanted to purchase that, and I took a chance, and I was beyond thrilled to find out when I opened this up that the back was in the original undamaged condition. I was extremely thrilled to find that out. So happy when I turned it over after opening it up out of that envelope. So I can't express how happy I am to have this in my collection, to check this one off the list. As I just explained, I love everything about it. It's just such a unique, cool, awesome illustration. Charizard, Gyarados, Dragonite. I love everything about this card. It is fantastic, and I'm so excited to add this to the collection. So to wrap this video up, although I still have a decent amount of work to do on my Kamiya Master set goal, I'm probably about 30 to 40% complete as it stands right now. But this card that I showed you today was an absolute grail for me. So very excited to have been able to share that with you. I purposefully left out any mention of money or value or how much I paid for it or what the current eBay listings are going for, what the historical price data is for this card. I wanted to leave that out because I wanted this video to be about the pure collecting side of the hobby, the passion that I have for collecting, and I just wanted to highlight that. I wanted to leave all of the mentions of money out and just let this kind of be a pure collecting video. And this isn't to say that I don't enjoy making money in the hobby or I don't enjoy flipping modern promo cards or grading cards at a high grade and selling that for a profit. That's not to say that both of these things can't exist in a hobby together, that you can't enjoy collecting and flipping and making money, and I think that you can do both of those things at the same time, and a lot of us do. A lot of us fund our collections with the money that we make from flipping other pieces of our collection or things that we no longer want in the collection. We flip those out into the market. I think that sometimes in the society and in kind of the world that we live in today, everything is black and white. Well, there's a lot of gray, and there is, you know, there's room for both things. So I wanted to highlight that. So many wonderful people in this community have reached out to me upon finding out that I collect Kamiya cards or having talked to me. They have, out of the kindness of their hearts, sent me extra Kamiya cards that they don't collect these cards, or they're just commons or uncommons. I can't tell you how many times people have sent me free cards and contacted me in the DMs and just said, hey, I've got these extra cards. I know you collect these. Give me your address. I'd love to send them to you for free. So you know who you are. Thank you very much for doing that. It makes this hobby so rewarding, and to have those types of interactions and to be able to get those cards and start those conversations with people and start those relationships. It's just extremely rewarding. So this is just one example of how this community that we all love and really adore can be selfless, and how we can put our, the discussion of, the monetary things aside and what's currently, rocketing to the moon and Moonbreon and stonking and all that Charizard UPC and up and down, and we can put that aside and just really come together around our shared passions. So that's what I wanted to highlight today. That's what I wanted to talk about. This is probably the most fun I've had putting together a video, just to get to talk about something that I truly love. It fires me up, and it makes me so happy to to talk about these cards and to put out a video like this. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I had a blast making it. I've had a wonderful time on YouTube so far, uploading videos, receiving kind feedback. It's just been a lot of fun to scratch that creative itch and make some fun videos, and I've had a lot of fun editing and just putting out content for you guys. So thank you for the support. It means a lot to me. I'll catch you in the next one.